Hey y'all, it's Uppity Unicorn. I am going to have a little talk with you about delineation. There is, well, you know what I'll do? I hear cooking up this conversation. Hey, Zero. Hey, love, much love from downtown NO. I love you, Nola. Whew, I have been watching these. I refuse to watch the documentary because it's absolutely traumatic. I was in South Africa when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, and I felt so powerless. I was so far away, and I went to a predominantly white institution, PWI University, and I was the only Black American in my class. So the Somali African didn't care, the Eritrean African didn't care, and I was just glued to the computer looking at floating bodies in the water. And, it's, the Pacific Northwest is such a racist place. People don't understand that. They think, oh, we come here and it's liberal. No, the South will tell you the N word to your face, whereas those people in the Pacific Northwest will rap every Tupac lyric to you and bring you to their house. And then somebody finds you hanging from a tree or pushed over a balcony and it's an accident or ruled a suicide, a self deletion and nobody knows why. We had an apartment building that was called, I forgot the name of it, but these apartments housed a number of people from Hurricane Katrina, and those people, my people from my ancestral Louisiana, were systematically moved out for safe blacks. And if you're not familiar with that term, safe black is anything but Black American. So Somalis, African immigrants, Caribbeans, that whole apartment building. Um, Oddly enough, the goddamn apartment is on MLK Way, Martin Luther King Jr. Street. And it's fully East African now. Those white people were like, we are not about to deal with these N words. And through all their trauma and all their loss, everything that they lost, they qualified for living in this brand new, beautiful, low income building, and they were systematically forced out. And I'll tell you something else about Washington State. We accepted more animals from New Orleans than we accepted people from New Orleans. You see, we're a part of the country where people kiss their dogs, sleep with their dogs in both senses of the word, lay in bed with their dog damn near runs the house, and the other kind of sleep with their dog. Um, we took in more animals, more stray dogs and cats, more than human beings. And I was traumatized by not just the hurricane, but the after process, the after process. So I've been seeing clips of Ryan Coogler's documentary on Hurricane Katrina, and it just messes me up so bad. So I love Ryan, but I can't watch. I love Ryan and Zinzi. The couple, they're a mighty couple. They're a beautiful black shiny button on our community. Can't watch. So anyhow, now that I've depressed you before we get into the conversation, I want to talk about the delineation movement. So what I am going to do is pull up my video description because I do not want to deviate from that as a description because when I speak extemporaneously, right, at will and off the top of the dome, when I freestyle, I get to saying all kinds of things. So I'm going to go on ahead and stick to the script. So just one moment with me here. My internet is lagging today. I tried to give you guys a new introduction because I had been playing that other one for so long. I figured it had perhaps grown stale. So here we are in content in the back of my YouTube studio. And you can read it for yourselves as well. It's in the description of the video. Right beneath the video is a little description box you can click on and read what the delineation movement is about. I'm going to first read that and then give you my opinion on the delineation movement. Why are Black Americans seeking boundaries they've never sought en masse before? What is the delineation movement and what does it mean? What is it for and how did it come about? Black American delineation often refers to discussions and efforts to distinguish and emphasize the distinct experiences, history, and identity of the Black Americans, descendants of enslaved people in the US, from those of the Black populations, particularly African immigrants and their descendants. According to the Black Agenda Report, this can be motivated by a desire to prioritize and address the unique concerns of Black Americans whose ancestors were enslaved in the US. One specific term that has gained some traction in this context is Foundational Black Americans, FBA, which specifically refers to descendants of those enslaved in the United States. Proponents of this concept aim to clarify. The key word is clarity. The word for 2025 is clarity. This concept aims to clarify and advocate for the specific needs and interests of this group, sometimes drawing distinctions between them and other Black populations within the US, right? One of the greatest reasons I can see for the delineation movement, right? That means I'm pro delineation, is when you look at the Black caucus, you think because they're Black, they're one. You think because they're Black, they're for us. But the Black caucus votes against reparations every time the vote comes up. Why? Because you have Jamaicans, Haitians, uh, South, East, West, Central, North, Southern Africans who have no ancestral memory, no epigenetic connection to slavery. They came over here without having to pay the cost and still got to be the boss that we paid the cost to be. White people admittedly have a preference for them because it's like how we got a Kenyan American president. Barack Obama is not ADOS. He is not an American descendant of chattel slavery. He is not a foundational Black American. His mother uh, is like the seventh or eighth cousin of President Bush, and his father was a man from Kenya. It was easier for the nation to elect him because he didn't have that wound. He doesn't know that whip. He doesn't know those chains. He doesn't know those plantations. Now, Michelle, sure, absolutely. Barack, no such concept. And so you saw him take office. You saw him get into office, and he didn't do a single thing for Black Americans but dap them up, give them hugs, and pat the back twice, sing Amazing Grace on the microphone. But when it came to what are you doing for a community, he showed you exactly what he was capable of when he did what he did for the LGBTQ community. He showed you exactly how easy that was. Kamala Harris, a much better choice than the administration we have now, asked directly about reparations. She said, if you ask me if I'm going to do something specifically that only helps African Americans, no, I'm not going to. And she said it like that. She said, no. She didn't say, I don't think that's inappropriate because no. But Kamala Harris has specifically done things to help the Israeli community. Specifically, her husband is also Jewish. She has specifically done things. I mean, she helped a good 500,000 Indians from India because that's what her mother is, specifically. But when she was asked about the Black American, AKA and all, went to a HBC and all, just like a lot of Afro Caribbean and African people do, and it didn't work. They'll tell you to your face on those HBCUs, haha, you don't know where you come from, you don't know who you are, XYZ. Okay. So, because we have these people in positions we've earned, there is dissent, there is disagreement. The Black Caucus looks like a jury of a multitude of blacks who are just like, there are a couple of African Americans in the Black Caucus, but overall, the Black Caucus is like, oh, boo, get out of here. If the Black Caucus was all African American, because the Black Caucus were staunch supporters of Israel. If the Black Caucus were all African American, the Black Caucus would be staunch supporters of Palestine and of a two-state solution, because that is the tradition of the Black American. The Black American has been supporting Palestine since Nakba in 1948. You can go and look at speeches by Malcolm X, the martyr, the man who is not a myth, who is a legend, of him speaking in favor of Palestine. That is our tradition. Now, yes, we know that the Palestinians have showed their sphincters to us, but I digress. Um, However anti-black they want to be, we understand what occupation is. We understand what colonization is. We understand right from wrong because we are a uniquely spiritual people. I want you to know that and hold on to that. We are a uniquely spiritual and delicate and gentle people. Um, so when it comes to us fighting in this country for years, hell, conquer Johnny Conquerin. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. He was fighting for a solution for reparations after he got done with OJ and Nicole. After he got done with Kim Kardashian's dad, he was like, "All right, bet next reparations." Him and Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King ended up developing thinking that belonged originally to Malcolm X towards the end of his life. And he began to work on, I mean, these files, these Martin Luther King files that, the Trump administration wants to release. I don't know if they want to expose Martin for being a cheater, but, you're going to expose that map of solutions to Black people. So go on ahead. I can't hold it against them if Coretta don't. And in the back of his mind is Coretta, and she knows. She knows. God, she knows. Okay. Uh, so I do support delineation. I have seen Ethiopians who support Black American delineation. I have seen Jamaicans who support Black American delineation. I have seen a few Haitians. I have seen groups among the Black diaspora who are known for having the most self love and the most self esteem and the most pride support Black Americans in delineation. I've seen other groups, and I don't even want to name them because I'm not here to insult them or to draw them out, call them out. They're absolutely enraged by delineation. They call FBA a group. They call ADOS a group. And I'm like, these are not groups. These are not political groups. These are not cliques. These are not organizations. It's just a term. And they would know that if they knew the history of the American Negro, but they don't. They would know that if they knew the history of the American Negro, but they don't. Because the American Negro is unique in that our name, the name of our group changes every 15 to 20 years. Does it not? African American is not on my birth certificate. I'm a millennial. It's not on my birth certificate. African American is not on my grandmother, not on my mother, not on my great grandmother. I have access to all those birth certificates. It's not there. It's not on any of my grandfathers. Why? Because the very first thing you were ever called in this country is an Aborigine. Because really, that's what you are. While everybody is telling you that you are from Africa, I'm not saying you don't have African heritage. I'm saying you have pre Columbian heritage. The book by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, They Came Before Columbus, that doctor is talking about you. They're talking about Mesoamerica and all them dreadlocks and all them Olmec temples and Mayan pyramids, them big noses, them playing basketball and lacrosse and all these sports that we dominate now. They're talking about you. They're talking about these colossal Olmec heads with Negro noses and thick lips and afro hair. I've showed these images a million times on my channel, so I'm not going to go on ahead and pull them up. But you are as American, or even more so American, than you are African. We know there was a slave trade. We also know they pulled our leg about that slave trade and how many people actually got to America. We got Nola here. We got uh Big Lil James 9 from NOLA. Ask him what a Mardi Gras Indian is. That ain't nothing but you. You've been Choctaw. You've been Yamasee. You've been Washita. You have been reclassified so bad. Even the Cherokee, now that they're running out of government support, even the Cherokee are trying to reintroduce Black members of the tribe because so long as they can prove we are native, and they locked us out because we're Black. We got knocked off the Dawes roll because of being registered as Negro. They want us back. You can Google it. It is at the tip of your fingertips. The Cherokee Nation is begging for Black people to be recognized as Native American. They've known all this time that we haven't been lying to them. I remember seeing a Native American powwow and them doing the hey ya, and it sounds so corny. And their little dances are like one step, two step, three steps back. And I'm like, no, that shit is hey ya, hey ya. It's Andre 3000 shit. And them feet, them dances that you're doing, understand that Cristoforo Colombo, he wrote back to Spain, like, have you seen what these people can do with their feet? Tell me that wasn't a crip walk that Christopher Columbus was seeing. Tell me that wasn't a second line dance down the streets of New Orleans that Christopher Columbus was seeing. Because I tell you, you go to a powwow and you see these people and they do their dances, and it's like, oh, they're protecting their culture. But all around the world, I have watched rappers who started in their teens and are out here even in their 40s, and all white audiences, all Asian audience are begging, crib walk, crib walk, crib walk, crib walk, begging these West Coast rappers to crib walk because they don't understand what you're doing with your legs. Them Chicago legs, them Oakland legs, them Louisiana feet. That's what Columbus was. Literally, Nelly has a song, Drop Down and Get Your Eagle On, Girl. You know that dance where Black women drop down and spread their legs and, do a little up down twerk? You know how old that is? You know Columbus wrote back to Spain about it? You've never seen a dance, an original Native American dance, worth writing home about, except when it comes to the Samoans and Tongans and Maori with the haka. And not just with the haka, but any of their dances, really. You haven't seen it on these Asiatic Siberian people who know that they came here from Siberia, who know that they came here from China. I got all kind of mutuals on TikTok who are Chinese and Korean, and they're doing these DNA tests, and they're like, man, I grew up in China, and they're telling me I'm related to all kind of Indian chiefs. And I'm like, yeah, because the story is crumbling. They're like, oh, look, well, you African Americans are showing up in Africa. And I'm like, that's because you know nothing about the slave trade. What you don't know is not only were Africans brought over, but tons of Native Americans were sent to the Queen. Tons of Aborigine Americans were sent to Europe, to the UK, all up and through West Africa. They were sold out. And quiet as it's kept, most of the Africans who were sold to the Americas were sold to South America and the Caribbean islands. And you wonder why, when this diaspora thing happens, it's usually Caribbeans and Africans against Black Americans. It's the entire diaspora. It's the UK Blacks and everybody else Black from everywhere else. It's the South African Tyler supporters against Negroes. There's no unity with us. And part of that is because Kendrick Lamar, they're not us. They're not like us. There's a reason they don't like us. And so when these people come here, I used to have a Somali woman who made fun of me about being an American all the time. And the first day she got her big blue passport, she was like, "I'm officially an African American now." And I was like, "Some shit you used to make fun of me more for, so does that mean you were jealous?" I was like, "You're not an African American, you're a Somali American." "What do you mean I'm not an African American?" And her sister was like, "Look, I've had this conversation. You won't win. Stand down. You are a Somali American like I'm a Somali American. So long as you can call your country, that's the American you are. You are not African American, but I'm African and I'm an American." So I'm like, "All right, bet. You're not lying. But here's the deal. This Negro, exactly. I'm glad it's happening too. The thing is, the poor African American is so compassionate of heart and so gentle that we were the most staunch Pan Africanists. And we didn't know that Africans were not even Pan themselves until the early 2000s. We didn't know. We didn't know that you couldn't sit an Ethiopian and a Somali in the same room without them throwing blows. We didn't know that. So, what would the African Americans do who founded hip hop? What were they wearing? They were wearing kufis, they were wearing big African medallions, and they were like, "Hey, we all black. We all black." And those people told you from their mouth, "Don't call me black. I'm not black. Don't call me black. I'm Congolese. Don't you ever call me black. I'm Jamaican. Don't call me black." And we were like, huh? We don't get it. But we had arms wide open on like a Mariah Carey song. Here I am with open arms. We was out there like T-Pain, my nigga, my motherfucking nigga. We were out here welcoming everybody, wearing our big. I mean, you got Africans who won't even wear the African medallion. They'll wear all of their Ethiopian regalia, all of their Mali, all of their Somali, all of their Cote d'Ivoire, all of their whatever, but they're not even Pan themselves. We were dumb. Sorry. Not dumb, but ignorant. We had no exposure. We weren't we weren't really going to Africa like that. We weren't really traveling like that. But the more immigration that we've had, the more refugees that we've had, and the more that they bring over their, a lot of these cultures are very tribal. They're very my family, my family, my family, instead of my people, my people, my people. They're very my lineage, my lineage, my lineage, my specific lineage, and not my people, my people. The Black American is my people, my people. Because the Black American saw Amadou Diallo from Africa get 30 something bullets pumped in his direction because he was reaching for his wallet when they said identify yourself, and they were like, well, he could be reaching for a gun. We understood that we share the same plight, so we welcomed everybody, and everybody got off on that. And to this day, that's why people place themselves in Black American culture. That's why Puerto Ricans and Mexicans are claiming to be creators of the crip walk all over social media and showing you dance. This is a dance that the crip walk actually originated from. Yeah, we created hip hop too. I'm like, whoa. Look at what you're doing to us for being inclusive. We let you niggas come out to play with us in the Bronx. We put DJ Herc on them ones and twos. Sugar Hill Gang taught our black asses, if you didn't know, by the way, that the song Apache is all about being an Aboriginal American. Your grandmother told you what you are. But these school books and these people want to bleach your thinking, want to brainwash you into thinking you're something else. You're anything else but an American Aborigine. There's, oh, you don't know who you are. You don't know you don't have no culture. No, you don't know who I am. You can't take who I am. So you want to deny, you want to tell me I'm not who I am when even the rocks are crying out. Or even we got pyramids older than yours. We got pyramids older than Egypt. Hell, China has pyramids older than Egypt. Surprise, surprise. Carbon dating and anthropological research. It's like, what do you mean? We've been here. We carved our faces in colossal Olmec stones. The Olmecs were the first society here. And you look at those stones, they got braids, they got cornrows, they got beads in their hair. They got on something tight that looked like a wave cap. What do you mean? Who are you talking to? You're not gonna divorce me from my grandfather, from my great great aunt, this and that. but they want to because these people want to come over here and be American. I've seen Sierra wearing all that African regalia, sitting with all those people. She didn't look like nobody there for Sierra's entire career, right? Sierra and her goodies, her entire career. People would ask her what she is. She's like, I'm Cherokee. And I'm like, Sierra, what is this African dance that you're doing? Well, how are you playing with us? You know who you are. You know where those cheekbones are from. You know why you're long like a Powhatan, like a goddamn Chief Powhatan descendant. You know why you're long and strong like that. You in a picture with a bunch of people from whatever. You don't look like nobody there. And I don't just mean your light skin color, but I'm just like your eyes, your cheekbones, your lips, your nose, you look like an enhanced Olmec head. Stop playing with people. But let me tell you why I believe in delineation, because the African Union decided to make the Black Americans the sixth region of Africa. Talking about some welcome home, bitch. They decided to legally make you, with the help of Joe Biden, with the help of the Democratic Party, they decided to make you the sixth region of Africa. You wonder why that Kenyan woman owns Essence. You wonder why they had them Jollof versus Jambalaya competitions where they had jambalaya written in big words and jambalaya jollof written in big words and jambalaya written in itty bitty words. These people want to push you out of your position. All these Africans, you don't know who you are. Go back to Africa. Go back to Africa. My nigga, why are you here? Why are you dying to come here? Why are your best and brightest here? And that's the delusion that they have, that we come here and we do better than Black Americans. I'm like, no, only your best and brightest get to come out of your nations. Y'all can't come over here nothing less than a nurse, doctor, engineer. Y'all don't make it. Whereas all of our people are here, our best and brightest and our worst. We're all here. Only the best of your people are here. So don't talk to me about your superiority when your children are eating dirt cookies because there's a starvation, there's a malnourishment crisis in your country. Don't talk to me about ghettos. Don't talk to me about no projects if your kids are walking 3 miles barefoot to school. Don't talk to me about any gang violence when you got all kind of warlords setting up checkpoints and forcing y'all to wear bullets like logos in your throat hole. You're not gonna talk to me about poverty in America when poverty in your country looks like kwashiorkor bellies, where these little African kids got flies in their eyes, mites in their bellies, and you would think the belly is full because it's so big. You would think it was full of food, but no, it's full of parasites. You're not too much on my people, and you know what? They are shocked because the Black American is so compassionate and so gentle. We used to let them talk to us like that. We were repenting for saying African booty scratcher in kindergarten and first grade. And well, in my culture, we do this and we have culture. We let them talk to us like that. Have you guys ever seen a Lapeef Network live stream where the first thing all the people get up there and do is, well, I'm not a regular Black American. I'm an island girl. Well, I'm not a regular Black American. My mom is from the Congo. Well, I'm not a just and the Black Americans up there on the Lapeef Network live streams, they'll just sit there and take it. They'll be quiet as hell, hanging their head, shamed. You know why? Because our people are sensitive. Our people are spiritual. Our people are compassionate. And it hurts us to talk about your shanty towns, your cities for miles that are built out of cardboard and tin with no running water and no electricity. And you can hang that on my head because I've been to South Africa. I've been to Cape Town, South Africa. I've wrapped my hands around the same bars that Nelson Mandela did on Robben Island when they incarcerated him. I've been to Kenya. I've been to Uganda. I've been to Tanzania. I've been to Zanzibar. And now that I'm talking about South Africa, I might as well go on to the Tyler thing because all over social media, people are mad that Black Americans don't want anything to do with Tyler. The BS is real. That's why Pan-Africanism can't work. There are over 2,000 ethnic groups in Africa. Not happy. Exactly. They're not even pan themselves. And you know who said that to me? You think I'm being disrespectful as an African American? You know who said that to me? A Somali girl. A Somali girl. She was like, Chocolate, we don't deserve you. We don't. And when she said you, she didn't mean Chocolate Angel. She didn't mean my mama's daughter. She meant Black Americans. She's like, we don't deserve you. You guys are over here repping the whole continent. You guys are these revolutionary pan-africanists losing your lives like we not even pan ourselves. That's where I got that they're not even pan themselves. And I was Muslim for 13 years, so I've been in places where you can't put Ethiopians and Somalis together. I've been in places where Somalis who are Hawiye will fight with Somalis who are Isaac, with Somalis who are Darod, people from Mogadishu, and they can't get along with people from Basaso and Berbera. Very tribal people. And our problem is that we never were. We never were tribal. We never were. We were just a body black. And so we let these people into our culture, trample all over our culture. I had a girl sit in front of me and say, I'm so glad I have a culture. I was like, who doesn't? And she looked like, you nigga. And I'm like, what's that you're wearing? Look at you in your silver hoop earrings and your denim. You know, before they called that shit denim, it was called Negro cloth. Do you know denim was created between cotton plantations and indigo plantations? Enslaved masters used to mock us for wearing that shit. First they mock you, then they copy. They mock, then they cop. They called us cowboys like they called us boys. Stable boys, cowboys, kept calling grown men boys. And to this day, all these white men like Kid Rock, they all of a sudden they want to be a cowboy because unspeakable swag, unspeakable swagger. I like that. I'm a cop that. And in their admiration for the white man, they have co-opted things that are us. Like I've seen black people from the UK say hip hop started in the UK. That's a joke. I didn't know the Bronx was in the UK, but they say it with their chest, with their heart. They're serious because we told these niggas come outside and play, and they were like, okay, this is mine now. I grew up like this. What do you mean? I am hip hop. Homie, you're Asian. Okay, it's not even the diaspora doing this. Look, I realize you guys are some of the last break dancing, helicopter spinning, whatever. But that's not from Asia. Well, look at this dance in Asia. Look at this Indonesian dance. These are the precursors to breakdancing. I'm like, my nigga, we wasn't traveling like that. Black folk ain't have passports until the late 90s. Fuck you mean? And I mean en masse. I'm not saying black people never had one. I'm just saying like now it's a regular thing, right? Now it's a regular thing for us to have passports. You got passport bros all over the place. But I'm just like, black people ain't really get like that until the 90s. We weren't in tandem with you. We weren't in conversation with you. We weren't in connection with you when we came up with these dances, when the person who invented that helicopter dance died doing it. Why are you claiming us? And it's because of people claiming us and calling what is ours theirs that there's this need for delineation. And now the Africans are throwing back at us what we used to say to them. Oh, we all black. We're all black. We're all African. You look more African than I do. Blah, blah, blah. Every Aborigine looks like Africa, homie. But you're so focused on telling the Black American, you look African. You look African. I'm like, so does the Australian Aborigine, homie. So does the European Aborigine. So does the Indian Dravidian, the Indian Aborigine. So does the Somali Aborigine. So does the North and South American Aborigine. You got a problem, honey. The first of all these nations were black. The first of all these nations had noses and lips and cheekbones. Are you okay? And I'm like, you so busy trying to claim a Black American. You're from Africa. You're from Africa. You're just like us. You're no different than us. I'm like, listen. Why aren't you saying that to the people of Tasmania? Why aren't you saying that to the Samoan? Why aren't you saying that to the Fijian? Them Fijians, don't ever get it twisted. Don't ever get it twisted. They're hella mixed with Asian now. But all you have to do is Google the older kingdoms of Hawaii and Samoa and Tonga and New Zealand. I mean, these people had afros. Just a grandparent or two ago, afros, big nose, all of them look like the Jackson Five and feathers and leaves. They look like boop, 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 boop. I'm like, why aren't you telling them that? Fijians will tell you themselves. Yes, they're Fijian, but they came over to Fiji from Africa. They will tell you that themselves, but you're not willing to call a Fijian African like you're willing to call a Negro African. You're not telling Brazilians that they're really African, even though more Africans were brought to South America than North America. You're not walking around. So why are you trying to claim us? Why are you trying to destiny swap with us? Why are you trying to identify as us? You're only doing this to us. That's weird behavior. Brazil is the blackest nation outside of Nigeria. Do you hear me? You quote me on that. That's a fact. That's a statement you can make. You can take that to the bank and cash it. It will not bounce. But you're not telling Brazilians, whatever, whatever, whatever. You African as me. You look more African than me. African. You're not saying that to them. You're not saying that to the Jamaican. You're allowing the Jamaican to be Jamaican. You are. You're allowing the Haitian to be Haitian. You're not allowing the Black American to be who they are. And that's why they keep coming up with these terms that offend you. And it's just delineation. Nobody is saying you're less than. But you know what? Some of these people think so much of us that delineation automatically insults them. They think a lot of Michael Jackson. They think a lot of Malcolm X. They think a lot of Beyonce, Whitney Houston. They think a lot of Coach Prime, Shador Sand. They think a lot of Bo Jackson. They think a lot of Ken Griffey Jr. They think a lot of these people. And so when you tell them you don't have a hand in these people, they're mad. We sit down and we say, hey, by the way, that's us. It's not you. They're mad. And I'm like, y'all got Nelson Mandela. I'm not mad. Y'all got Steve Biko. I'm not mad. Y'all got Ibrahim Traore. I'm rooting for you, Burkina Faso. I'm not all of a sudden, well, Burkina Faso was on my DNA test, so baby. I'm like, you don't know shit about Africa. And I've been to Africa. And I've studied in Africa. Black Americans have no concept of, all right, we going home. We finna take a left past the zebra and down three giraffes is where we come from. No. You know what that is for us? You're always talking about, oh, your ancestral lands and your country and your culture. Our ancestral lands are East Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee, Manhattan. That's where old dirty bastards people are from. Not African, Aborigine American, lost their island. You want to talk about a trail of broken tears? You want to talk about a trail of broken treaties? You want to talk about little bighorn and wounded knee? True American history looks like this. When these Siberians came over here, they found a people who looked like the ancient people of Queen Sheba. That's actually what Columbus said. One of the letters he wrote back to Spain, and all you have to do is Google letters Columbus wrote to Spain, to Hispaniola, and he's like, fuck are the people of Queen Sheba doing here? And you think you know Ethiopians because you see the way that they look in America. You see the uppermost class of Ethiopians coming over here, and you're like, oh, they look like birds, big eyes, forehead, that's a 5 head, narrow nose. I'm like, nah, these used to be big ass niggas. Abyssinia used to be huge. Abyssinia, Habesh, these Habesha people, Abyssinia used to spread across, good God, even parts of India were called Ethiopia. Ethiopia used to spread from sea to shining sea on the African continent. From East Africa to West Africa. So what was called an Ethiopian back then, hundreds of years ago, is not what's called an Ethiopian today. Hell, even Eritreans. Eritrea used to be a little small place in Ethiopia. They've been an independent nation for less than 45 years, but Ethiopians don't roll up on them like, yeah, you really Ethiopian, no. You really Ethiopian, no. You really, I'm like, We've been separated from you. Whatever African ancestry we do have has been separated for 400 years. If the Eritrean don't got to be Ethiopian, why does the Black American have to be African? Why are you calling us after a continent we can't even navigate? We don't know nothing about it. It's a strange thing that the Black American goes through. It's a very strange. Let me read what you're saying. Their favorite thing about us is how inclusive and supportive we are. So you're going to return it back or not? People better step up and give the love that they're demand. Exactly. It's been our downfall. We've been out here rooting for everybody Black. And the moment they get in our spaces, the moment we welcome them, they exalt themselves in our spaces. So with this whole Essence Fest, they shut down New Orleans. The where all around where the Essence Fest was, they shut down New Orleans. They shut down shops. They shut down Black owned businesses because they wanted the people to shop with the festival. So they handed out written notices. All right, well, you can't be open for these 3 days of the Essence Fest. Mind you, before that it was Kenyan owned. That was one of the best part of the festivals. That was one of the best parts of the festival where you would go around from neighborhood to neighborhood and you would have this beignet and you would have this etouffee and you would have this dirty rice and you would, from place to place. That was one of the highlights. They shut it down. How is that respect? That's a takeover. And they were on camera all smug, well, the real Africans are here now. Respect your roots. Talking crazy to us. Talking crazy at something we've established for 55 years. Like, are y'all all right? Like, you're welcome. Are y'all all right? And of course, Black Americans are uncomfortable and they're like, all right, well, y'all got it. Y'all can have Essence. We're not doing this with you. We're not having no Jollof and Jambalaya competitions. Why are we competing if it's really about unity? Why are you so obsessed with proving that you're better than the African American? Oh, we come over here, we do better than you. We do better than you. We do better because only your best and brightest make it out of Africa. Y'all poor are not here. And even your best and brightest, you go to any, forgive me, because people like to talk about Black women as welfare queens, but I'm like, you go to any CSO welfare office in Washington State, and everybody in that mug is Hispanic, Latino, and East African, West African. That's all it is. Little sprinkles of Arab, one or two Black American women, and a bunch of white people. We on welfare by 16% out of 100% of us. Are y'all all right? Welfare queen, really? You know how Black women couldn't even qualify for a food stamp card, wished and hoped and prayed she could have one, but didn't qualify? I can listen to you cook all day long. Thank you. That's a compliment coming from you. If they were superior, they would fix their homeland. And that's the next part of the conversation. If you're so superior, go be superior at home. There's this Congolese woman who holds these TikTok lives, and she's always talking about how superior the African is to the Black American. I'm just like, well, go be superior at home. You want to talk about our ghettos? Our ghettos look nothing like your shanty towns. You living in a lean-to. This ain't even, these ain't houses built, it'd be one thing if it was a mud hut. I've seen mud huts in Kenya, and some of them mugs are impressive. These circular buildings, they circulate air better. They keep things cold in the heat, and they trap in heat when it's cold outside. But I'm like, it's not even a mud hut, my guy. It's an Amazon box with a tin roof, no running water, no plumbing. And you got that all over Africa, but you're so superior to somebody in the hood. You don't even have going on what we have going on. See, you don't know the African American. You think you know us. You have no idea. You don't know that we built cities. You don't know what these inventions are. You have no idea who we are because you come over here and you don't learn. You're so married to whiteness. You're so boldly in submission to that white man and an obsession and praise and worship over that white. You don't even know that we made his life easier. You don't even know we invented the car. You don't even know. I mean, you can Ford car my ass. You know how many slaves couldn't have access to patents, couldn't own their own inventions? You got all these white people renowned for inventing the light bulb or whatever. And I'm like, you just had a bunch of slaves working on it and you took credit. Go home, Roger. Like we know what this is. Everybody wants to talk about how the damn iPhone is made in China or whatever it is. And I'm like, let's talk patents, shall we? I mean, a whole Negro, not a Caribbean, not an African, a whole Negro. You have to establish a foundation of technology in order to get that cell phone. You have to establish a process. And a black man owns those patents. I have a video on my channel about Mark Dean, who worked at IBM. Computers used to be the size of living room furniture. Y'all know that? They used to be huge. We laugh at floppy disks now. And we're like, man, them things were huge. Nah, floppy disks used to be the size of, end tables. But it was Mark Dean who holds 3 out of 9 patents, one black man, holding down a third of what it takes to create a personal computer, a tablet, a cell phone. China does a wonderful thing of taking an invention and taking it to infinity. But so much of this stuff is just the ingenuity of a black man or woman. You really want to talk about hidden figures at NASA? Then you're going to start having to talk about who mapped the world for GPS in the midst of trying to land a rocket. Map the world for GPS. There's an old black, AKA Alpha Kappa Alpha granny who was responsible for that. Lose your way and a black woman direct you. Ain't that like us? Ain't it just like a black woman to invent call waiting and clicking over? Your ability to click over on the phone, your ability to put somebody on call waiting, your ability to put a motherfucker on three-way. All black women. And you know we be on the phone. Even the message, the number you have dialed has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you've reached this message in error, a negress, how you feel right now? And what did your black mama always? I'm on the phone. So of course she was gonna improve that shit. Now we invented three-way, but now they got a little something called conference call. Okay, but what was that based on? Be so for real right now. You don't even know how much you have no we are strangers to you. Just like the white man who lives next to us every day, they always stare at us and they're fascinated because even though they look at us every day, we are strangers to them. They don't really know us. They're still fascinated. How you live next to a group of people for 400 years and you're still fascinated by them? Because you were raised to think we were one thing and you met us in real life and we hurt your fucking feelings. We hurt your feelings. Why do you think, the last time a black community was bombed to smithereens in America was in 1985? You want to know why? Because niggas wanted to be left alone. They wanted to grow their dreads. They wanted to have their homestead. They just wanted to build their own community. They wanted to be left alone by white folk. 1985, bomb them people. You're talking the year of millennials being born. Not too far away. Under Central Park is Seneca Village. It's a whole black city under that park. Couldn't stand to see these niggas thriving because the problem with the black American is that they're like the ancient Egyptian. They floss. You see these gold toe rings that the Egyptians would have on. You would see these gold fingertips. What you wearing them for? They're not even functional. Yeah, but they fly as fuck though. These beads and these things. I mean, black women in the 1920s, it's like scandalous. Like she got on a full fur. Everything she wears custom made because it got to be made because it's not industrial yet. That dress she got, that fabric she's wearing. People, oh, Jackie Kennedy was the best dressed president, not, Michelle Obama. Okay, fine, but who dressed Jackie? A Negro woman went to bring her dress and damn near got turned away with the dress in her hands because she couldn't come in the front door. Are y'all all right? Are y'all okay? And these newer generations that don't read and they can't spell. So I'll be online trying to have a conversation, and I'm just like, girl, you are talking to a younger millennial or some kind of Gen Z something who can't read or spell and doesn't do any research, even though the world is at their fingertips. Bag chocolate. For those of you who don't know, Chocolate Angel is my that's my birth name on my birth certificate. Uppity is the name of my channel. And I'd be having to calm myself down. So when it comes to delineation, I don't recommend interacting with these people. I don't. Because I don't want to ruin my love for the African net sponge. I don't want to ruin my love for injera. I don't want to ruin my love for, East African food and because these people will talk to you so dirty about who you are. Yeah, you want to act like you're massa and this what you say? That's why you guys are all I see why white people shoot you guys in the streets now. It makes so much sense to me now. And you've got to realize you're dealing with kids who have never faced consequences. Millennials and up, millennial, Gen X, boomers, we know what it was to say some shit and get an ass whooping. We know what it was to well, if you talk it, you better talk it like you walk it. We know what it was to call somebody a bitch in their face and it was fighting words. We know what it is to get punched in the mouth. These people have no idea. No idea. Some of the most respectful places in America are prisons. Because people know you step too far to the left or right, you might forget about punching you in the mouth. Somebody might take your virginity, not because they love you, but to let you know you said and did the wrong thing. We understand those things. They don't, and so they say whatever they want to say, and I'm just like, I don't want to get to a point where I don't like y'all. So when you're doing delineation, erect a wall of silence with these people. Don't talk to them. You see them under the comments, don't talk to them, don't read their comments, don't let them, because they say the nastiest things about slavery. They say the nastiest things about the prison industrial complex. You got all kind of innocent niggas that go to jail. And when they come out, they can't be innocent because of the trauma they've gone through. You got all kind of black men who didn't commit that crime, who shouldn't have had to do that time, getting released 30 and 40 years later. Old men who were innocent the whole time. And they come out so jacked up and so different. Because for the people who are in there guilty, they're going to look at your goodness. They're going to look at how much better you are than them, and they're going to crush you for it. Hell, that'll happen to you on YouTube. Don't you dare be the girl everybody's pretending to be. Don't you dare graduate from this and that university and be this intellectual and this articulate and this accomplished and have this many award winning this and don't you dare. Don't you dare do that in the beef sector. Don't you dare do that in BWE. You get your feelings hurt by the gynocracy. You get your feelings hurt by the manosphere. You get your feelings hurt on the LaPeep network. Whole time you just came over there because you on your DMX. I love niggas and I love niggas because niggas are me. So I should only love that which is. You come there on some black and proud kumbaya and you get destroyed and distorted for who you are. Let me tell you something that I've learned from all these conversations. These people come from harsh cultures. They will be in the comment section beating up verbally on Black Americans like they can beat you into submission regarding, and I'm just like, oh my God, you're so big and bad on the internet. And I'm like, I can't believe you think mental abuse works. Is that how you were raised? You think mental abuse works? Is that what your parents did to you to make sure you weren't gay? Is that what your parents did to you to make sure you would you know? You know how some of them people, you're not my daughter. You are no longer my daughter. I'm no longer your mother. Is that what happened to you? I'm sorry. That shit wild. You want a hug? But they will talk to you in such a nasty way, trying to pressure you into identifying as African. And I'm just like, what is, why do you need that from us? And why do you only need it from us? Why do you only need it from the Black American? Why don't you require that from the Afro Brazilian? Why don't you require that from the Puerto Rican? You better believe Puerto Ricans got all kind of Taino descent, Spanish descent, and Nigerian descent. Them Puerto Ricans be over there practicing Yoruba. What is that? Jocelyn Hernandez, the Puerto Rican princess. Hey, May. How black and beautiful that woman is. Sickening. And I'm like, you don't go to the Puerto Ricans and pressure them. You don't pressure them to be African. You're only pressuring us. What is it about us that you want? And you know what? Some of these people envy our proximity to whiteness. And I'm just like, it's not a thing to envy. They want to impress white people. They want to. And I'm like, yeah, we got a few coons, but all that colorism and coon and shit and selling out, like black Americans look down on that as a culture. Yeah, we got a bunch of black men and black women who are, crazy about, oh, I only date my white, but they're in the minority. We don't look upon that kindly. Yes, black Americans out here who bleach themselves, but baby, the way they're in the minority, the way they will get shamed because we don't look upon that kindly. We brought swag globally to the world of being black. So many of these people, you couldn't tell them they were black because they were ashamed of the word. That's how we got into it with Tyla in the first place, and the South Africans who are colored. We're like, well, that's a slur here. We don't like that. Let me tell you guys something. I think I already covered this, but I'll say it again. I was colored. Look at my picture. Look at my face. Look at my hair. I was colored when I went to South Africa, and there was nothing I could do about it. I cried. I had never been separated from black before, so I get Tyla's, hold up. The whole time I was in South Africa, I was colored. The whole time I was walking around with all these white people and these two African girls, people took liberty to disrespect the African girls I was with, especially the darkest one. And because they would do it in Afrikaans and some other language, I wouldn't catch it until it was over. It sent me into shock, but there was nothing I could do about it. And when I say nothing I could do about it, there was nothing I could do about being defined as colored when I was there. I didn't like it, but I wasn't about to fight a whole group of people when I'm in their country, I'm in their nation, I'm among their culture, I'm in their ways. And then I'm in the land where their ancestors died. But you come over here and you got no regard for how we feel about the word colored. And you on a bunch of different radio stations, you on the Breakfast Club, dissing black people for asking what's up with that. You on a MTV award stage trying to get the Little Mermaid to hold your award. How are you cool? That's a whole Disney princess. She's not holding shit for you. Oh my God, I'm so small. Can you hold my award? That was her trying to treat black Americans like the help. What a racist ass. But we're jealous because she's so beautiful. They ain't never seen a pretty girl from Joburg. See me now, and that's what they prefer. We're mad at you about being pretty. Why aren't we mad at Rihanna for being pretty? She literally almost ended up a princess. I mean, Harry was crazy about her before he met Meghan. Crazy about Rihanna. How come we get along so well with this implant from Barbados, whose career is more than yours will ever be? You want to know why? Because she got to act right. She came over here and she interacted with black people in the proper way. She showed respect to the culture. She from Barbados, her man from Barbados. But you know what? They respected the culture, and we had no problem with exalting them. Big Pun, Puerto Rican. He respected the culture. He was grateful to us. We had no problem with exalting him. We had no problem adding him to hip hop history. It ain't because you're not us. It ain't because you're good looking. It ain't. Nah, that shit is disrespectful. We sensitive people. We Erica Badu. We sensitive about our shit. No, you're not gonna work yourself into an American audience treating Black Americans this way. We're the gatekeepers. Sorry. If we don't like you here, nobody likes you here. Because in America, everybody wants to do what our people want to do. Africans weren't on TV in the 70s. Right. We're the people of Bill Cosby. We're the children of Claire Huxtable. Sorry. You be the children of Chimamanda Ngozi. Okay? That's who you are. We Claire's kids. No, we're not the same. We can have the same hue. We can have the same. The point is lineage. And it's not to say we're better than you. It's just to claim what is ours because the African Union is trying to take reparations by claiming us. And Biden's racist ass and the rest of the stupid Democratic Party. And hear me out because Republicans are death and red. They're the red damn death. But you know that two-party system. Yeah, we got a problem. They went and legally made us a sixth region, and you know what the African Union led by two Nigerians. You know what they made the year of 2025? They made it the year of reparations. Reparations for what? For what? You sold us. You already got paid. And they'll be on, in these comment sections, haha, that's why we sold you for mirrors and beer. We sold your asses for cigars. Haha. That's why I say, like, don't even engage these people because they will erode your sweetness. You are sweet as a Black American. You are spiritual as a Black American. You are some humming ass, faithful, God believing, Bible thumping. And if you let the Bible like I did, you keep your morals, you love your mama, you respect. I heard a racist white cop listening to a guy going off on his mom. And he was like, nah, that guy's not Black. Black people don't talk to their mom like that. You got a whole racist accidentally speaking in your cultural favor. Now, this was old. This was in the 90s, right? We got some kids going off today. But the point is, even a racist was just like, nah, that guy, we're not looking for a Black guy. Black guys don't talk to their mom like that. Respectful. We're a different kind of people. And it's like they're affected by the fact that we know it. We gave birth to Michael Jackson, who said, "Heal the world, make it a better place." You didn't do that. That's all Catherine. That's all Joe. Find me a Black Jackson and see if they're not a sensitive person. See if they're not a spiritual person. Find me a Black Jackson. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, the mother of Erica Badu. Ooh. They always want to talk to you like you don't have no culture. Your culture is actually beautiful, Black American. Y'all are some stand-up ass people. You really are. And you showed out during the civil rights movement. You showed out so bad. The rest of the world, from Samoans to Taiwanese, they started creating chapters of their own Black Panthers to free themselves from their own oppressors. You blueprint ass Negroes. Y'all are special. How does the whole world call you nigga and less than? How does the whole world say they're better than you and watch everything you do and imitate everything you do? How are you so hated and at the same time imitated? Because people usually only imitate what they love, what they admire, what they respect. You are a peculiar people. And with the African Union claiming us as the sixth region, I'm like, bitch, why not the UK? UK Blacks are always telling us how African they are and how Caribbean they are and how we don't have no culture. Why aren't you claiming them as a sixth region? Brazil is literally the blackest nation on earth outside of Nigeria. Do the numbers. How come you're not claiming them as a sixth region? You know what? Because the same reason the African Union is all of a sudden trying to claim us is why it's the same reason why the Cherokees are making a run for getting Black American Cherokees recognized as Cherokees. Y'all, I'm telling you, reparations is up. Reparations is coming some way, somehow. And they got the memo before we did. Something is coming to where people are trying to be us and include us. Something is coming that has been hidden from us. And they got all these celebrities getting on social media and getting on TV, getting these African citizenships. And I'm like, the more you do that, the more they can say, hey, give us the reparations. No, you were paid already. And quiet as it's kept, many African nations deserve reparations, but bitch, not from America. Not from America. Congolese people, you deserve reparations from Belgium. King Leopold fucked y'all up. Did some bullshit more horrific than the Holocaust. That's who owes you money. Belgium. You're not owed shit from America. So why have your hands on our reparations? Why even let it be Jamaica? Weren't you the Queen's people? You absolutely deserve reparations, but you need it from Britain. Haiti. France did y'all so bad. France had y'all paying reparations for your motherfucking freedom. You don't need Black American. America doesn't need to pay you shit, but France needs to pay y'all billions. Okay? You are owed something, just not from us. Us is owed from us. America owes Negroes. West Africa, some shit happened to you. Talk to France. Eritrea, some shit happened to you. Talk to the Italians who colonized you guys outside of Ethiopia. Why are you confused? Talk directly to your colonizer. Speak directly to your colonizer. In South America, somebody owes you something. It's called Spain and it's called Portugal. Talk to them. But why are your hands in the pot for Black American reparations or worse? Or worse, you're in the Black Caucus, you're in political power, and you're voting against these reparations and you're delaying. Every time you're like, oh, well, why did the Africans do so bad? Why did we do so? Bitch, you're in the way. You're dead ass in the way, and you know you're in the way, and you like being in the way. You're in the way of every political process. There are even white people who are just like, yo, what's their problem? Like, of course, Black people deserve reparations. How do you not pay people what you owe them? We had it happen with the Jews. We're like, how is America paying you reparations for what happened in Germany? Talk to the Germans. Are y'all okay? Because they don't have $1.8 trillion spending power that's going to get them a seat in the UN and gonna. And I'm saying, and I'm saying, by the way, our Malcolm X had a mother from Grenada and a Black American father, a lot like Amanda Seals. I tell you, that's such a beautiful combination. They keep making the same kind of people whenever they meet, whenever they mix. Um, but that's what I say to them. They're like, oh, well, we do better than you. And I'm just like, our spending power, just spending, not our income, our spending power is worth more than all your nations combined. If you don't leave us the hell alone, and you know what the African Union is doing? They're like, well, we're going to take their money and what we're going to give them in return is connection and culture. You think we want to buy your fucking culture? Well, we're going to give you a connection to your roots. Isn't that what you want? We know where our roots are. We know we from Mississippi. We know we from Mesoamerica. We Bamas. We know we from St. Helena and the Carolinas. Like what do we need from you? How many centuries do you have to be outside of a land to be able to claim a different identity. Again, like I said, so much of Africa used to be called, it's just like Virginia and the Carolinas used to be huge. The territories of the Virginias and Carolina were huge. Those states, some of those states had to be turned into Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, right? The size of these things, you look at these old maps and you see what these states really used to look like. You see what these 13 colonies used to look like. How do you tell somebody they're not, they don't belong to the land that they built? America wasn't 15 states. Before it was even 13 colonies. When it was barely 3 colonies, we were here. Malcolm said we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. We were here and you guys brought your asses. We were minding our indigenous business, rocking our feathers and locks and braids, minding our business. But what made the global difference in the world is the gun. You see, black people, you were too humane to invent something like the gun. No, that's a thing you definitely did not invent. You did not create. Now you improve that bitch. I was just watching excuse my language. I was just watching a TikTok video about a black man who he saw an automatic rifle on TV and he improved the design. I believe it was like in the 50s or something. And everybody wanted, his blueprint, but nobody wanted to give him contracts. And he died a poor shop owner. I mean, all these gamers out here, you know how gamers, you get online, you put on your headset and they're like, nigger, 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 I'm your master, nigger, nigger, nigger. And it's like in 1985 was a powerful year for Negroes. Who created the Super Mario Brothers? Dun, 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 dun. Who created the Nintendo? A straight up Southern Negro. Just tinkering. Tinkering with the thought like, oh shit, this fun. Y'all want to play? And that's always us. We're always out here. Y'all want to play? And we involve people in our shit and they're just like, all right, now I'm a founder. And it's like, hold up. Don't don't do that. Don't do that. And so then we have to get to a point where we're stuck having to delineate because you have no respect for where you end and where I begin. I love Haitians. Please, I can't engage with some of these Haitians online because it's gonna jack up. You stop liking people when they insult your culture and when they insult your mother. Okay, that's when you stop liking people. And for the most part, your culture is similar to your mother because it's from your mother's mother's mother's. It's from your father's father's father. It's like insulting you. And I'm like, because some of y'all are so reckless online, whole time you probably got an African American boyfriend, your favorite teacher's probably Black American, your favorite professor. Like, let me not do this with you. So when it comes to delineation, please don't engage these people. Just do you. Make your posts about who you are. Don't argue with these people because they will imbue you with the hatred that they were raised with. That shit is contagious. I mean, I got to a point where I was on TikTok. If I heard any inkling of an accent from a black person's mouth, I would just scroll because I was so temporarily traumatized by dealing with these people who are just like, oh, FBAs are a terrorist group, and I'm just like, nigga, we're not a group. It's just it's an adjective, ho. It's just a description. It means that we were here from the foundation. Foundational Black American is not a set. It's a delineating term. ADOS is not a set. It's not a political group. Black people have been Aborigine, Negro, colored, Black, Negro with a capital N, Afro American, African American, Black American, and we're just like, hold up, damn. Every 15, 20 years, the U.S. Census does something with the name of our identity. Why? Because they are trying to erase our history. All over older American documents, you can see yourself being called an American Aborigine. They know you were here. Even the Siberian Native Americans, they're not confused about you having been here. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants you to know. And when the Africans get to claim to be you, because technically they are the ones who are African, and when they become American, technically they are African Americans, but they want you to keep the title too so they can Jacob and Esau you. That's nasty. But when you come from a place where there's no plumbing, when you come from a place where the roads are atrocious, literally part of the reason China is colonizing Africa is because they're promising to give them roads. They're building them roads. I've been on roads in Kenya that would just break your heart, that would break your car. People would rather ride motorbikes in Kenya than cars because the majority of the roads are just you'll get stuck on the road. You get your tires stuck in a pothole. These government officials, they just hoard money. These NGOs, they just hoard money and they live like kings and queens. And you see these great big mansions, and then a few blocks away from the mansion, it's hell. It's outhouses. It's hole in the wall restaurants. It's shanty towns. It's a FedEx box and an Amazon box and a tin roof and pouring rain. It'll break your heart. Make a grown black man cry. And I'm like, this how y'all do each other? All this resource hoarding? I mean, there are all kind of African leaders who have gold everywhere, private planes, and their people can't barely eat. Haiti is run by gangs. And the thing is, this is not funny. So yeah, they'll talk about our gangs and they'll talk about our, whatever going on, but I'm just like, it's hard for me to even say that back to you. Because now I feel bad. See, you don't feel bad. You relish in insulting a black American, but we are so humane. We feel bad after these conversations about kwashiorkor. We feel bad after these conversations about your malnourished children. We feel bad when you talk about our kids and we throw the fact back at you that your kids are in orphanages and they're not even orphans. Their parents just dropped them off. Their parents ain't dead. We feel shitty talking to you about that. And I'm saying reserve the parts of you that feel shitty about that kind of behavior. Let that be them. That's not us. That's not natural to us. Yeah, we do the dozens, but we would do the dozens with our cousins. We would do the dozens with our friends, our schoolmates. We'd be able to get in a fight and figure it out, or we would be able to, just do the yo mama so fat she on both sides of the family and be friends again. We didn't mean this way in this serious war. Oh my God, I see why white people are killing you. The fuck? I meant to say a seat at Grenada, not eat at Grenada on that earlier post. Gotcha, aspiring heights. Black and mass have off the welfare. Exactly. Most of us are not on welfare for a generation to a generation and a half, right? Hey, my sis, my beautiful redhead, Ariel, little mermaid, little Peppa, cinnamon. Hey, Gladys West. Come on, somebody. Come on, Big Lil James. Gladys West. That's the old grandma. That's the old auntie responsible for GPS in all of your cell phones. In all of your cell phones. In your Samsung, in your iPhone, in your Huawei, all the way in China. That black woman is responsible for something that exists all over the world. How do you feel? What Beyonce say? Can't nobody knock it if they tried. This is hustle personified. Look how we be when fighting. And so when we win, we will have pride. Like, can't help it. And the thing is, for some reason, odds is always stacked up against a nigga. We out here at Black Americans collectively are Shador Sanders. Without even explaining that, I know every Negro listening to me knows what I'm talking about. We are collectively Shador Sanders. I mean, against all odds, said Tupac. It's like, why always so much pushback? Like, y'all have no idea what we be up against. And it's strange. We've been going through such a long, centuries long genocide since being free, hung, killed, pulled over, lynched, whatever, and we're still here. I saw them cops in DC, that National Guard in DC. They didn't have nobody to arrest, just walking around, roaming the streets, nobody to arrest. 14 of them followed a kid with a spray paint can. Half a dozen of them put a bag over a homeless man's face who was in a wheelchair with no legs and cuffed his hands behind his back. That man is a cripple. Where he gonna run? But they were so excited to find somebody who might be homeless. You want to know why? Because these people who own these privatized prisons, they get paid $85,000 a pop for your black ass. And crime is so low in Baltimore and in Maryland and in DC, the lowest low it's had in 30 years since like 74. These billionaires are like, where are my niggas? Where are my niggas at? You promised me this many people in prison and they're not there. Oh, wait. We'll get them. We'll get them. To the point where these National Guards are literally going door to door in DC. Damn. You can't find black people so bad. Y'all are going door to door to be nosy, to figure out who's black where. So y'all could sit up outside of black houses and wait for him to jaywalk. So y'all could whoop his ass and he can cuss you out for knocking his head and resisting arrest. Now you're going to jail. These have been our privatized prisons are not new. These big corporations, these Walmarts, it's like, how do you think they're pumping out a lot of this stuff? You get stuff made in China. A lot of this stuff is made in America. You think people in prison only make license plates? They are making everything, everything. Some getting paid 2 cents a day. Some getting paid 20 cents a day for an 18-hour day. I just got done watching something on Angola prison, and there was a guy there who was in there for life for murder. And the interviewer said, "Did you do it?" He said, "Nah." And the thing is, the guy who was talking to, he was in the position of something like an overseer. So they let that man ride that black man is in there for life. He's up on a horse and they're picking cotton, they're picking fruit. Angola prison used to be Angola plantation, okay? But the reason they trust him to be up on this horse, to be riding around the prison in cars, to be working with, I'm like, they know that man is noble. They know that man did not commit that crime, but he's in there for life. They trust him with their backs turned, not to run them over, not to trample them underfoot under the horse, because they know that man didn't kill nobody. This is what Black Americans are up against. A nation built on slavery can only survive on slavery. This is capitalism. There is something to be said for socialism. There is something to be said for communism. Because if you look at China, those people are living the American dream. Go look at China. Go Google it. Just scream China at your phone. Scream Chengdu. Chengdu, China. Scream Xi'an, China. Scream Hong Kong or Shanghai or Beijing at your phone and see what your phone that's listening and recording you at all times comes up with. Those cities are amazing. Their food quality is amazing. Their quality of life is amazing. It looks like the American promise. It looks like the American dream because what? They don't have no homeless. They're not going to let you be homeless. There are ways to take care of you without welfare because the nation won't let you fall that low. These people were farmers 30 years ago. Just a nation of, what did JD Vance say? A nation of peasants, just farmers. Now the whole of China looks like a spaceship. Steampunk cities, like I can't, I mean, go to Chongqing, Chongqing, China, Chengdu, China, Guangzhou, China. I mean, these cities are just prosperous. The way the people eat, the quality of their medical facilities, things that you can't get in America. That's why there's so much medical tourism. That's why there are people, they need medical procedures. They're going to Turkey. Good God, Turkey is beautiful. Y'all remember Orlando Brown, who played Tyga on Major Payne? And he's, why does not America look like Dubai? Right? And he went off. He's like, y'all, there should be apples and fruits and it just stuff hanging from the street for the homeless to enjoy. You're charging us for water? Shit like that don't exist in China. We thought as Americans, because we are in a narcissistic relationship with our government, we thought that these people were just in sweat factories. We thought they were 9-year-olds making sweaters. Them kids is living it up. They got all kind of robot dogs, robot shaped people. They got all kind of um right, because they intimidated and judging instead of choosing to do something different for themselves. Yes, yes. We got some magic they can't tap into and they're mad. Absolutely. It's really true because nobody else could live in the belly of the beast this way. Whatever they're saying colonizers are doing to them, nobody has lived in the belly of the beast side by side with their colonizer the way Black South Africans have and Black Americans have. Nobody's done that. Even the Siberian Asiatic Native Americans, they're on reservations where they don't have to necessarily interact. Sure, the police come over there, but they have their own little insulated worlds where we're side by side and we're still us. How? Can't miss out on stuff that ain't for you though, like she's saying. Yeah. Um wow, this is a conservative black space. Interesting. Joe Jackson was a child abuser. uh, I know. I was not praising Joe Jackson. I was praising the lineage of Jacksons because I myself am a maternal Jackson. My grandmother is Rosa Jackson. We are related to Latoya, to Rebe, to Michael, to Jermaine, to Tito, to Randy. I was speaking of our lineage. I was not praising Joe. And I don't know how you pulled Joe and not Catherine because the first thing I said was Catherine. I was just saying these are our people. Yes, Joe was absolutely abusive. Like, what the hell? Who are you? Old dirty kung fu? You black and Asian? BPP were socialist internationalists. They wouldn't agree with this stream. I'm not praising the Black Panthers in totality. I am praising some of the things that Black female Panthers did in specifically. Did you know that it was Black female Panthers? I mean, the Black Panthers were very abusive to Black women. I hate when people talk to me like I don't know what I'm talking about. I hate when people who've never been on my channel before come to me and talk to me like, dude, some of these Black Panthers were straight up raping Black women, and they were saying we're raping them because we're practicing on Black women what we're going to do to white women. So you can't tell me shit. I'm from Seattle, Washington, old dirty kung fu. The second ever Black Panther party to exist. The first one in California, the next one in Washington State, specifically in Seattle, Washington, where I was born. We clear. Much of what I say about the Panthers, I'm really talking about the women of the Panthers. So much so, the breakfast program of the Panthers was run by women, is an idea from women. Kids can't learn when their stomachs turn because they're hungry. Those Black women are the reason why there is school breakfast and school lunch at every public school. Okay? They're the reason why. You just listen long enough is all you really have to do, bro. Or not, but you're over here calling me shit that I'm not, saying that I'm saying shit that I'm not. The AU is a result of representation of white American politics. Slavery is what's coming if we keep it up. Not really. Belgium lost all their money in World War III and the US purchased their debt. That's what NATO is. The US taking on debts of the Europeans after losing control of their colonies that were inspired by us. You are kind of in the way yourself. Okay, so then that's what your problem is. That's what your problem is. You guys remember earlier, and that what are you? What are you, old dirty kung fu? You Jamaican and Asian? You Haitian and Asian? Because you're giving non-foundational Black American. You're giving non-descendant of American chattel slavery, and this is what I mean. You see these people. They just want to fight you. They don't want to listen to what you're saying. They don't want to put things into context. They don't want to acknowledge. I've been extrapolating. I've mentioned the Panthers. I have extrapolated. I have not said the Panthers were a good thing as a whole. I have extrapolated things. I mentioned the Jacksons because I'm a Jackson and I know what we're like. I am a Choctaw Jackson and I know what we're like. Thank you, Koopa. Uh, Amanda, Amanda Seals doesn't agree with this shit either. I find myself very much on one accord with Amanda Seals. So, spending power is not political power. Hey, y'all, read Black Bourgeoisie by E. Franklin Frazier and read books by Gerald Horne and Jan Carew and get off the stream. That is so weird. This is why I said don't engage. This is why I keep saying don't engage them. Because here we are having a productive conversation, talking about our history, talking about who we are, talking about delineation, and this is what they come and do. If you don't like the idea of delineation, it was as easy as leaving. But because they feel so superior to Black Americans, this is what they do. They come here and they think they can tell you how to think and how to be and how to listen. They think they can be the critical thinker for you. They think we're dumb. You see how this man came in here talking to me about my history, about who I am, about what a black, not knowing that this is my connection to the Panthers, not knowing what books I've read, not knowing that I've graduated from the University of Washington and again from Seattle University, a Big Ten university, and then a private university. Just came in here talking, just came in here distracting, just came in here destroying. This is a prime example. They think they have rights over us. They think they have rights over us. They think they have a say over us. This is an example of somebody believing in your inferiority and telling you how to think. Where were we? I'm trying to find the last thing I highlighted. The dictionary term for American didn't even include Caucasians. Exactly. It Merriam-Webster, copper colored indigenous people of America. It didn't even include them. FBAs are attacked by everybody. Yeah. Everybody, every day, all the time. It's exhausting to be us. I mean, I could kind of hear what you're saying with this. I could kind of hear what you're saying with this because we create the wave. Whenever there's a wave, it's some Black American somewhere started the ripple. Every ethnic group asks Black Americans for help, but never give that same help back, and they have the nerve to get upset at us when we say no. The audacity. So this is actively happening with um, the Mexican community. um, they don't see the wisdom in us staying off of the streets and in our homes. They don't understand it. Part of the reason they are free to protest as they are, as aggressive as they're being in their protests, is because we are not outside. They are only after you to get to us. I remember when the Mexicans kept saying, "You're next, you're next, you're next." I'm like, "You're wrong. We're first, and we're always first. And not only are we always first, we're always the goal." They will deport you to get to us. Why? Because they want us back on their farms. They want us back under their thumbs. They want us. They're sending you home to get to us. Now Trump is regretting. Oh, we thought the black people were going to come back to our farms. They won't come back. Now I regret all this alligator Alcatraz shit. We thought the blacks didn't have any jobs. The blacks have trades. The blacks went to college, homie. The blacks are already at work. All right, well, let's lay off. What is it? In the last 3 to 4 months, 300,000 black women lost their jobs. Well, let's get rid of DEI and let's get rid of all these black women and see if they will start. They want their mammies back. They want their Sambos back. They want their bedbugs back. They thought we were going to be coming for those jobs and are confused about why we're not. Again, because there are people like this old dirty kung fu, they think that they can think for us. You know how many conversations are held about us without us? We don't even be in the fucking room, and the subject is you. And this isn't just with the diaspora. This is with white people. This is with all kind. This is with people all over the globe. I've had so many people mistake me for something else and say something about Black Americans. You would be surprised at the obsession. Even this person, this kung fu whoever. It's like, why would you even be here? Have a conversation about your people. Remember hearing that Huey had essayed Bobby Seale after the party was done and he was running the underworld, and that's why Bobby doesn't mess with the Panthers anymore. Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, Zero, you're sitting here, I'm sitting here. I don't know why this person would come here and talk to us like we don't know anything about the Panthers. I don't know that why I would be sitting here as a bloodline Jackson and this guy would try to talk to me about Joe like I don't already know about Joe. This is a prime example of the insulting our intelligence. These people think we're dumb. They want to think for us. They want to what are those little puppets called? Where you hold the not the string puppets, but the ones where they have like little metal puppeteering and they want to move our limbs for us. They want to be the determiners of our destiny and the determiners of how we think and the determiners of our self-expression and our self-determination. The authors and finishers of our future. And it's like, what is the obsession? We don't even get it because half the time we don't even be knowing who you people are. There are so many African and Caribbean countries we cannot even name. There are so many, and they're like, "Oh, you're ignorant, you're ignorant." And it's like, "No, we mind our business." I don't feel like I can go to your country. I feel like I can petition for you. I feel like I can throw my hat in the ring in the round with yours. I don't feel like I can determine who and how you are and how you live and how you should think. I understand boundaries. It's like people do not understand boundaries when it comes to Black Americans. They do what white people do when they go in all Black groups or Black conversations trying to be our overseers when they should mind their business. Zero. I'm saying though, like you just got an example of it. We're over here minding our Black ass business. And you know what that person would say? Because based on the name Old Dirty Kung Fu, Old Dirty, like ODB, like Old Dirty Bastard, it's like, oh, I'm Black, we all Black. No, this person is exactly why we have to delineate. You don't know where you end and we begin. You're in the way. The Mexican community even trying to set up to get arrested for looting and rioting. They are even looting stores wearing what black people usually wear while hiding their identity. I mean, they don't seem to understand. I remember during the civil rights, there was a white woman who was marching in one of the protests, and they blew her head. White men, white police, blew her head smooth off her shoulders, decapitated her. My point with saying that is if you know American history, you don't want to march with a black person. You don't remember them fire hoses. You don't remember them dogs. They would put these German shepherds on your kids and on your soul if it means that they can get to a black American. They want you out of their way. They want us enslaved or dead. There's an obsession with holding on to us. There's an obsession with, I mean, even with when I said black people are Shador Sanders, the Browns are holding on to him, trying to destroy his career and his confidence. They ran into what they consider an uppity Negro and they don't like it. And they're trying to make an example out of him. They're trying to buck break that boy and they can't. All them points he scored in the preseason. And they won't give him no reps. They won't let him train with the team. He's just throwing balls to himself at padded little rebounders, whatever they are, equipment. Won't let him do nothing. They won't let him practice with the rest of the team so that when he gets out there on the floor, they can say, see, he's terrible. Look, he can't even find his rhythm. He can't even find it. But that won't happen. That child is blessed and chosen. There's nothing that can be done about that Sanders family. They also say we're too arrogant when we show pride in ourselves. Right. How are you supposed to feel when your auntie is the mother of GPS, of 3D movies, of Nintendo, of games the whole world plays? How are you supposed to feel when you created Michael Jackson, when you created Beyonce? How are you supposed to feel about yourself when you're attached to this legacy? It's hard not to have pride if you know who the fuck you really are as a black American. Now, when you don't know who you are, hell, you can be lost and easily lost. But it's hard not to. It's hard not to. What a Beyonce. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling my. It's hard not to feel yourself, but still, Black Americans, especially because of the influences of the First AME Church and the Kojic Church, we have humility. Humility is a big value in our homes. We don't even be thinking about Africans and Caribbeans, but they stay. We don't know their names. We can't name more than Jamaica, Haiti, St. Croix. We don't even know the names of the rest of the islands. And shout out to Bahamians because Bahamians are always they're always with us. I've never seen a Bahamian oppose a Black American. Like we don't even know where you are. Oh, Trinidad and Tobago. Like we don't even know who you are or where you are or what because we mind our business. In our culture, that is our respect. That's our respect to you, is minding our business. They want us on the front lines to fight for them so they don't have to do the work and be sacrifices. Yeah, they know we'll get killed out there. They know that. But I'm like, you get to protest, you get to do your little music festivals, you get to be out there and unharmed. And not that everybody out there is unharmed, but unharmed to the degree that we know it can happen because we're not by your side. I watched them cuss out them ICE people in LA. I watched them cuss out the National Guard. A Black American can't even talk to a cop like that without getting the hell beat. You ask a cop for their name and badge number, and you get beaten and arrested. They don't understand the strategy because they haven't been studying American history. And part of the reason we don't necessarily, we should be studying, but part of the reason we don't have to study the way that they do is because it's our culture. We lived it. Our parents, my mom was a toddler when Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated. This is in our blood. We get it. And especially of all people, the people of Washington, D.C., everybody in Washington, D.C., and that is of every color. Yes, it's 47% black. Yes, the majority population in that. But they all are hip to politics. They know what's going on in America before the rest of America knows what's going on in America. They are some of the most well-informed people. You cannot pull the wool over these people. They know what they're doing. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. You guys got a real life example of somebody who's not us, not like us, coming in here trying to tell us what to do, how to think, what to read, who to be. Just hurling insults, even though you've not called them, you've not said anything to them, you've not nothing. I don't know what the preoccupation is with Black Americans, but people want their hands on you. Straight Aesop and Jacob steal your blessing from you, dictate for you. I thank y'all for coming. I thank y'all for listening. The delineation movement is good. There's nothing wrong with delineation. Every other group has already delineated. Okay. They walk around with their flags. They walk around, their apartments, their cars decorated with their culture. They let you know exactly who they are and who they are not. There's nothing wrong with delineation. But for the people who are offended by it and incensed by it, do your best not to engage them. What is this? I appreciate you, Zero. I'm going to go on ahead and end this. Just get my little media asset up here.